Welcome everybody, this is Jason Seacrest. We are going to go through a real fun little shark demo today. And we're going to give you a little bit more of an alternative to the pen tool. And we're going to try and simplify things with using our menu here. And we're just going to pull out this tab right away. If this is the first time watching our videos, welcome. These are walkthrough videos, just so you're aware. So what I would recommend is get your Illustrator up, download the resource files, and then just minimize and just kind of shrink up your YouTube so you can just follow along, and we'll build a cool little shark together. So what we're going to do first is we are going to build our template layer. So I'm just going to go File, Place, and I am going to be looking for our fun little shark anchors. I did this on a previous tutorial, and I thought it really worked out quite well, where I already gave you all of the anchor points to simplify your lives. So I do have the line work, and I do have a few of the shading lines in there as well, just so you can kind of see them. So I have that placed. Size-wise, I think that's actually pretty good. So what I'm going to do is come up to my layer menu, scroll down to template, and that's just going to lock it out, and it's also going to give it a 50% opacity. So at this point in time, I think we are ready to go. So we are going to go to the ellipse first. I'm going to do a new layer. And let's just call that line work. And I have no fill and black. And I might make this 1. So stroke is 1, no fill, ready to go. So let's make our lives super easy. You're going to see this nice little point in the middle. I'm going to hold down Shift and Alt, and I'm just going to drag that guy up. And I'm just going to see if I use my fun little arrows. And what I'm seeking is the bottom, just so everyone is aware. Alright, let's shrink that down just so we can see it. So I'm just kind of looking for that bottom. So it looks a little big still. Hold Shift and Alt, keep it all in proportion. And we're going to modify this a bit, but that looks pretty good. For the sake of argument, I say we're good. Okay. Good. I have my direct selection tool. So I've got my white arrow, by the way. So my white arrow, direct selection tool. Shortcut is the A key. What I'm going to do is click minus. Minus is our delete. And the first thing I want to do is just get rid of this top guy. So it's going to look a little silly for right now. I'm going to come back with my direct white, the white selection tool. I'm going to pull this guy up here. And I just want to drag that one. So I'm looking for the top of the nose. Looks good. Pull this one up. What I'm going to do on the template layer, just so you guys are aware, is I'm going to drop that down, just so we can see. Lock that back out. Oh, much nicer. Let's take that bottom one. I'm just using my arrow key, by the way. Click. Let's just take that one and just drag that handle out. Oh, too easy, guys. Alright, next, let's have some fun. We're going to click plus. That's just the plus one right over here, by the way. Let's just do the top. Okay. Next, we're going to come and do our convert anchor point. I'm going to grab that handle. Let's just drop that down. I'm going to take this guy and let's just drop it down and see where we're at. Okay, looks good. I'm going to come back with the plus, and I'm going to click 1, click 2, click 1, click 2. So I'm just getting some extra points, and that's just so I can give them a little bit of a brow. So I just clicked on that one and used my arrow key to drop it down. This one's good, and I'm gonna do a little bit out, a little bit up. Now this whole part right through here, that's all gonna get deleted. So if there's a little bump right here, no big deal. But for the body shape, I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, next, we're going to do the pen tool, and your lives are, let's just do it, and you guys are going to think this is hilarious. We're going to go click, everything is straight first, click, click, just go right to your points, click, and I'll zoom in a little bit so we can see it. Okay, back to pen, P, P, P. Reset, click P key, click, click, click. Reset. Okay, so right now I just have straights. We're going to come back to our convert. Take it, drag that up. Let's take this guy, drag, click A, Shift C. Shift C is just a shortcut for our convert, by the way. Drag up, click drag, that I can be straight. I'm okay with that. Shift C. So drag. Your mind should be blown up. Oh my gosh, too easy. Too easy. Shift C. And if you go in the wrong direction, just keep your mouse held down. Drag it until you get it. Okay, let's keep going. Let's blow your mind some more. Click, click, click. Let's go Shift C while we can still see them. That one can stay straight. Go back to P. Click, click, click. Shift C. Get good with your shortcuts, by the way. And I actually like that straight line there. Okay, P. Let's do the little back fin right here. Click, click, click. Shift C. Okay. Click P. Every time we click P, just so you're aware, it does reset the tool. So whenever you hear me say click P, that is so the lines don't connect. So if I don't click it, or if I don't reset the tool, they just continue to connect. Alright, so I did a point here, point in the corner, point here. Shift C. Let's drag the upper lip. Boom. You might find it easier to zoom in, by the way. Oh my gosh. Are you guys thrown up yet? That was too easy. P. Click. Let's do some teeth. I might modify these a bit. And what I'm really looking for is that the top and the bottom, the distance stays fairly consistent, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Either way, it's fun. We'll just do that. Let's come over to the circle. Let's do some easy stuff again. I'm holding Shift and Alt, by the way. There we go. Click the P key. There's our pen tool. Click, click, click. All right. Now let's zoom in. And let's do some mouth here. Now, I did do some overlapping here. Notice that the top is overlapping. If you like it where everything is touching, let's do it like that. Why not? Then I just have to take my direct selection tool, white arrow by the way, and I'm just moving these guys up. Keep in mind when we do our brushes later, these little points, we might have to adjust them. And it might even be fun to have that really, really tapered. So when we do our really tapered lines, so like these type of points, might be kind of cool hanging out down at the bottom. So we'll play around with that. We're not going to be super, I don't know, we're not going to be too crazy yet. Okay, keep in mind I'm back on Shift-C. And let's just start playing around with... Now what I'm going to do first, and I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to drag out the handles, Shift-C. And sometimes this Shift-C is way easier with way zoomed in. Click A, Shift-C, and we want it to kind of come back on itself. Let's do this one. Pull it out. It's going to get all fat first. And I'm looking for a curved line. A, Shift-C. Here we go. Drag it up. Click A. And the A is just so I can see the handle, by the way. Shift-C. Drag them out. Drop that down. You guys can take some creative license with this too. So if you wanted it to be more of an open mouth, you'd be able to do that. If you want smaller teeth, you'd be able to do that. Drag, Shift-C. This is pretty dorky, and this is probably the hardest part of this whole thing. Shift up. So if you want to sit there and move these, by the way, right, I can always just kind of shift move them over. So if they're getting too skinny, I could always just modify them. Shift-C. Drag it down. A, Shift-C. Grab it, pull it in. And I'm not in love with the teeth yet, but we'll play around with it. So this is the exact same thing on each one, by the way. Shift-C. Things to be aware of is notice that I'm clicking A and then coming back with the Shift-C. So if you have the Shift-C, some of you might be doing, and I'll do it on this one. So if I go Shift-C, pull it out. So if I modify this one, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, where's my other handle? If I click it, it's automatically going to shift it back. So that's why we want to click A first. So if you guys have had that issue, just double check whenever I say A, that is why we are doing it. It's basically resetting. Shift-C. Click A. Shift-C. These guys can actually, I'm not too, those can stay okay. And what we might do, we're probably going to modify these quite a bit as we're going through it, but to just keep them nice and, I added a few more than the first time I did this. And we'll see. Okay. For the sake of argument, though, we got a shark. At this point in time, what I would do, file save. Shark. Just hit OK. Usually the defaults are fine. Okay, this is going to be our line work. Let's just duplicate this one. And reasons why we always duplicate is I'm always doing demos, but just in case, oops, something happens, I go too far. Also, I like the idea of just doing multiple steps. So if I ever save something, keep in mind this will all save in your appearance menu, but as soon as I save it and come back, usually all that's wiped away. So it's nice to be able to come back, change things, or once we start doing colors, if I want to modify anything, I could do that too. Okay, so let's start the cleanup process. I'm not super happy with the teeth yet, but for the sake of argument, I say we're ready to go. So I've got line work. What we are going to do is use our scissor, and I just want to start to trim some stuff up. Scissor, scissor. Get rid of those guys. Now what we're going to do with this is, notice I have my white arrow, and I just want to take these little points, shift, shift, align those guys up. I'm going to come back with my lasso, grab those guys, come up to Object, Path, and we're going to join those. So this is all one big stroke at this point. Lasso, Path, join. Okay. Go back to C. C is the shortcut for the scissor tool, by the way. Black arrow, get rid of you. Shifts, nope, C. Now, other little things you could do, we could totally just cut these. Cut, cut. We could also come back in with our direct selection tool and then just move the points. I think this is just as easy. Just so we can see what we're doing. Now, if this doesn't bother you, where you've got a bunch of the overlapping, usually I like doing this just so we can kind of see what we're dealing with. But if you wanted to do all your line work first and then come back and do that, that would totally be a good option too. Doesn't really matter. Click, click. Get rid of you. So all I'm thinking of now is what's in front. So I want to start dealing with my overlapping. Good, good. See? Looks good. Let's do some circle. Let's zoom in. This is just so we can start dealing with some eyeballs. And this is going to be really dependent, and I'm going to shrink this down, is if you are looking, so this is going to be white of the eye, iris. I'm going to go Control C, Control F. That's just paste in front, by the way. That's where my little eye comes from. And then we'll do a little highlight. Now when we do this, let's do another one. Now for the highlights, I do want these guys, right now they have a black stroke to them. I'm going to leave all the eyeballs kind of as is right now. But just kind of remember to take the black line off. So we might deal with these a little bit separately. But for right now, I say that looks pretty good. Okay, we've got something here, guys. We are going to, let's duplicate. Nah, we don't have to duplicate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come into my brushes. I'm going to click my menu, use to define cartoon brushes. And I do have a video, if you have not downloaded these yet, I do have a video that explains, usually in each video I do give you the file, and there's a video of how to bring them over. So it is a very quick process. I think the process takes less than 2 minutes, and then you're ready to go. So let's start doing some fun brushwork. Now, to be honest, I might start with just some fat ones first. Fat. So this guy will be fat at both ends. So whenever they are touching, we're going to do our fat, skinny, fat line. So most of these will be pretty tapered. Fat, skinny, fat. For this one, I'm just going to make it fat. So I want this one to continue over. Taper. Now at any point, whenever we do these, you can always come back. Notice we've got our lines, these little points. I can always just take my arrow keys. So if I want these to extend out more, I can just bring those out. Fat, skinny, fat. And what I'm looking for is just as long as these are overlapping, so you'll notice that some of these might get a little bit of an overlap. If you've not seen our videos before, the next step is we are going to clean all that up. So that's really not a big deal. But let's say for this one, I just want that to extend down a little more. So for cleanup, I'm just going to zoom in so you know what I'm talking about, is I want this one to be in front, and this little corner is going to get deleted. So as long as there's a little bit of an overlap, it actually makes our lives a little bit easier when we do our cleanup. Let's still do taper for that. So notice that this one, that little corner hanging out, that's going to be really easy to clean up. That little corner is going to be really easy to clean up. We're going to go fat, skinny, fit. I'm just totally testing these out. I don't know which one I want to do yet. Alright, let's just stay for that right now. Okay, so at this point in time, what we'd be looking to do is, are all the line thicknesses kind of where we want them to be? If you say yes, everything looks pretty good, then what we would do is we are going to come into our layer. And keep in mind, this is a pretty good part where we, at this point, you can totally duplicate it. I might clean up the lines and then duplicate it. So let's just do this next little step. Nah, let's just duplicate it. Okay, so we're going to hide that one. And reasons for that is the first thing we're going to do, we're going to select everything, and then we're going to get rid of basically all of our strokes. So if you're not super happy, so let's say with those teeth, hey, I still want to play around with them, I would not want to do this step until I fixed up all the teeth. Expand. So now we're just getting rid of all of the strokes. Everything is pretty much a shape at this point in time. And now we're on cleanup. Shift E. So if you've not done this before, This is just so we don't have to spend all this time worrying about our pen tool, worrying about overlaps. We just come in with our nice little eraser tool. And anything we don't want, we just Shift E. Eraser is right here, by the way. So that is the shortcut, Shift E. Select. So notice that I'm selecting the shape I'm going to delete, and then I could get rid of everything else, and it's only the one that has selected. Good. Shifty. Right now I've got a pretty small brush. If I wanted to adjust it, the bracket is next to the P key. And all we're looking to do is make sure that there's none these little overlaps. So in this one I'm looking for that outside, and this is really for any of them. Just pick a line so this outside edge is what I want to make sure stays clean. So I'm just double checking that all those little points aren't sticking out at all. Okay, so at this point in time, File, Save. We are now ready for color. So we're going to do this in another video. Save, 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 and I will see you on the shark color video.